Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with BetDSI show that we do every week with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. Right now, we're going to take a look at the always quirky, always unique Week 17 in the NFL. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Good to be with you, Peter.
All right, Brent, first thing, I just want to ask you a few general questions about Week 17 lines in general. First of all, we see bigger line movements in Week 17 than any other week, right?
Yeah, it's you might say, wow, it's got to be dangerous for us, and it's one of those kind of yes, kind of, no, maybe. I mean, in some cases, yeah, it's lines are moving due to some information that maybe someone got before, so whatever.
Right. But I mean, like just using one game as an example, right? Cleveland, Baltimore, right? It was 8.5, then it was taken off the board. Now I'm seeing it's back at 13 and it reopened at 13.5. So is that a game where you're exposed on, or is that just like a movement that doesn't really affect you much?
This is this is a perfect example because my action is so dead on this game. It doesn't really hurt us at all. Now, there's situations where it is going to hurt us, and this just happens to be one of those circumstances where it does not. Now, I mean, that live movement all was related to the Cleveland quarterbacks, I believe, right, with Manziel, of course, and Hoyer and all that stuff. That's kind of how the line went from where it went, and then I mean, they actually got sharp money back on Cleveland when it was up to 13.5, so it kind of came back down. So I guess you compensate and compensate, and sometimes you may get to a point where you've overcompensated, which gives you an idea where the number should be. Sure. So I actually did get sharp money, as I mentioned, on Cleveland plus 13.5. We're sitting at 13 right now on Baltimore. There's so much up in the air. It makes for a dicey situation in terms of line moves from our side of the situation, but in terms of bettors as well.
All right. It just seems like just from at first glance, you've got a line that's up. You've got several lines that are up for like a day or two, and then they come down, and then they're like 5 or 7 points different when they reopen. It seems like you're wildly exposed to middles, but you're saying that that's not really the case.
Again, it can be the case.
Right.
You just kind of have to take game by game, and it's tough to say that a blanket response and say, well, yeah, we're going to get hurt by line moves, or no, we're not going to get hurt by line moves this late in the season. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I don't know if that's a good enough answer, Peter.
All right. So in general, what would you say? How would you compare the volume of sharp action that you get in Week 17 to other weeks? Is it great? I would guess there would be a little bit, in general, that you get a little bit more sharp action in Week 17 than other weeks on average.
I think it's pretty much the same. But what I would say is that the action earlier in the week is much less. The action the day of the game is more so than a normal. Like on Sunday, we'll have more sharp action coming in that day, and we'll have less actions kind of prior to Sunday. Just like I said, when all the variables kind of get known, like I said, right now I would call it tentative action.
All right, well, right now it's late afternoon on Friday, so we've still got almost 2 days to go before kickoff. But let's see, what can you tell us about notable action that you've taken so far on Week 17?
We'll talk about some sharp games. First off will be Detroit. That's a definite sharp side. They're at Green Bay. Okay. Detroit plus 8, definite sharp money there. I've got my dollar volume is about 2-1 in favor of the Lions. My count is about 2-1 in favor of Green Bay, which is no surprise because the public's always going to be backing the Packers, of course. Green Bay is going to be a attractive teaser side as well this week, but I do have sharp money on Detroit. Cleveland, like I said, we touched on that one. I do have sharp money on Cleveland plus 13.5, and then that was after all the quarterback news came out with the Browns. So Shaw's going to start for Cleveland, and they took Cleveland plus 13.5. We're down to 13 right now. They're at Baltimore. Talk about sharp action on Carolina. Carolina plus 3.5, minus 0.5, very sharp. I've got actually 2 different guys who are very, very sharp who both took Carolina plus the 3.5, minus 10, and plus 3.5, minus 0.5. They're at Atlanta. Atlanta's right now minus 3, minus 115, and a total of 47. I've got sharp money on the under that game as well. So Carolina, definite sharp action, plus 3.5, and the under 48. My money's about 3-1 in favor of Carolina, and my count's is pretty much dead even right now. Kansas City and San Diego is an interesting situation because Alex Smith is not going to be playing, but I still had sharp money come in earlier in the week on Kansas City, and even now that he's been announced out, I still have sharp money on Kansas City. We dropped all the way down from like 3 down to a pick, and they still back Kansas City, so we're back up to minus 1 right now. It looks like people are just going to be backing Kansas City, the sharp guys. I do have a count about 2-1 in favor of San Diego, so I think that's mostly public money saying, hey, I mean Smith is out, so jump on the Chargers. But my count favors San Diego 2-1. My money favors the Chiefs about 2-1. So that's a bit of a sharp public split there. Dallas at Washington. Dallas is down to 5.5 right now, a total of 49. Sharp money on Washington plus 6.5 and plus 6 minus 05. I got a couple of sharps on Washington there at home. And San Francisco, they're at home to Arizona. They're at 6.5 point favorite right now. San Francisco is total of 36.5. And I had sharp money on San Francisco, a couple of sharp guys, minus 6. My count favors San Francisco about 2 to 1, and my money is probably exactly the same. And last one we'll touch on is Oakland and Denver. Ugly Oakland plus 14.5 was sharp. I got a couple of guys on that as well. And this is like really strange. I mean, I know it's the last week of the season, but my count actually favors Oakland, and my money favors Oakland. That's just wacky.
Very, very interesting stuff. Brent, thanks so much once again, and we'll talk to you very soon.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.